Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica to Expert. So, it hasn't been a lot of time since last episode. I've continued running materials through this. I did go ahead and shift it up to here. I actually had to push the lava and stuff down because it caught some of these framed walls on fire and burnt them up, so I had to replace those. It was only about 4 of them, but yeah, I had to push those down. And this is kicking away, making some more metals. I also went mining. I did come across thorium, just one of the veins, you know. I found boron, quite a bit of that. I also found magnesium. And I found the other one. What's it called? Lithium, right here. So I did come across lithium. So we did find those nuclear craft metals. So I got all of those. I haven't cooked any. I haven't slotted any. None of that so far. But I did come across those. And yeah. And I think that's the main thing. So anyways, one thing I did forget about at the end of last episode is I forgot to do these quests right here. We completed these quests at the end of last episode. I never turned them in. So let's go ahead and get our loot chests from these. And boom. And boom. And let's see what we got. We got nether wart blocks, 2 of those. We got lapis blocks, 4 of those. And we got a unbreakable, like, creative building wand. Nifty. Alright, I'm going to put those away. The lapis, I'm actually just going to turn into regular lapis blocks, break it down, and dump it into there. Alright, so what we are going to do today, the very first thing, or the main thing that we're going to be working on, is kind of bringing all the stuff that we've been working on so far, namely the kitchen and the smith area. We're going to bring those full circle. We're going to get the big things done this episode that I want to do, because I think next episode we're going to start working on, I'm going to continue expanding the farms. We're going to continue working on these. But as far as our like starter stuff focus, we've kind of got that out of the way, which was getting food, getting our ore doubling in place. And so I think starting next episode, I'd like to start working on maybe our first magic build, so we can actually start magic up, or our first real like power system build, because we're getting to the point where we're going to need more centralized power as well. So but before we do that, I want to get some kind of conduits running items from here over to there, and the same with the kitchen. I want to start moving stuff over with conduits there as well as a couple miscellaneous things like sorting out a good food for us to eat that's maybe not baked potatoes, and also something else that's food related that's going to be really, really helpful for us. So anyways, I was doing some thinking, and there's a few ways that we can go about conduits. Of course, there's transfer nodes, which are kind of blah. But if we go with transfer nodes, we are going to have to get some sort of a new machine up and going. Because to make our network cables, there we go, we're going to need lapis plates to make these, and we either have to make a compactor pressurizer or get into IC2 to do that. Pressurizer is not beyond our means, of course. There's also XNet, but once again, we're going to need the lapis plates to do that. And ideally, what I'd really like to do, because XNet is going to require power and a whole little setup. It's great. I love XNet, but maybe it's not the best thing for what we need in these 2 locations, right? And I was thinking about Ender.io conduits as well. These require a conduit binder, which is basic, and they also require the pulsating iron, which I don't believe we can make. No, we cannot make in here. We're going to have to make it either through the induction smelter, the alloy furnace, or the alloy smelter from Ender.io. Or find it from exploration, because it should come up in exploration. So we could go exploring and see if we can come across it, because I really only need, well, I need a few pieces in truth. But I think what we're going to do is just go for the alloy furnace. It's not very expensive at all. We actually have copper solenoids lying around. The bricks, redstone, furnace is easy enough. But the basic plating is actually fairly easy to do. We're just going to need the lead sheet metal and the lead casings. So all in all, I'm going to need, six lead plates. So let me grab this. Oh, and I did find that Skystone meteor that we were mining out. I mined a lot of that out. I haven't finished mining it. It takes a little while. Our pick actually mines it pretty quick, but it does take a little while. But I did get an inscriber silicon press and a calculation press from that. So I finally found my way to the chest. Let's go ahead and get our plates, and then we're going to need to compact 2 more of those into the casings. And then we just have to get our graphite block. So let's get 9 of those. And let me pop over to our home. And let me grab, I'm actually just going to grab all of this. And let's pop back over to the smith. And something that Harakane brought up, which is a great idea, we are going to take one of these and put it on top. It does kind of change up the way I'm going to have to run my conduits, but I can run them from the bottom and then up around to the top. Maybe, I'm not sure, but probably from the back, I think. But we're going to put another furnace up here, and this is going to be just manual use stuff. So we do have one of those for like manual smelting available to us. So we're going to start smelting out our graphite, get that stuff cooked up. And while that's going, we're also going to need to get ourselves, let's see, the basic plating. We got that. Okay, we're going to need 2 bricks, a furnace, redstone, and a copper solenoid. Okay, I don't think I have any bricks left. I might have in one of my chests. I need to get everything like that I've got made up, or all the stuff that I've got just kind of condensed, because it's literally all over the place right now. So that is something that I need to do. Okay, so let me just pull up the alloy thing, the alloy furnace, because this would make things a little bit easier. Oh yeah, the lead sheet metal. There's that. And then there's our 4 basic plating. These are also fairly common in dungeon chests if things haven't changed from when I played before. We just haven't done a whole lot of exploration just yet. So we've explored a little bit. But smelting up a storm, we have our alloy furnace now. And it's just iron and ender pearl dust. Okay, we can use an ingot and a pearl as well. Which I can also use the dust. I'm just going to use the dust because I've got it. Let's go ahead and make ourselves like maybe 5 of these to get started. And let me pop over and go sleep real quick as well. I need to break some more grass and see if I can... We actually might be going... here pretty soon we might be going to the end, possibly. I don't think there's anything that really blocks us, like going to the end pretty quick. And if we can get ourselves some end stone... Well, actually, I think we can do it with Astral Sorcery if that's not disabled. I have just enough over here. I know I've got some more, though, so... but if that's not disabled within this pack, we can do it that way as well. So... I'll have to look in just a second, because I'd like to get end stone underneath those. And then, I can't remember what the best one is. It's something from Extra Utilities. It's something. Let me see. If it's unchanged, I'll have to double check. I can't remember if they've changed it or not, but it actually might have been like, I don't remember. Oh, I'm terrible. But there was a third one, and it was, I think, better, if I recall. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But if I recall, it requires end stone, though. So, end stone, to make that... oh, we can actually do it like this. That's actually super easy, then. Okay, so maybe we'll make that this episode, then. And that way we can boost the speed. Yeah, you can do it with Astral Sorcery as well. Fluid Infuser also. But this method right here is super, super simple. So that's what we're going to do here in just a minute, actually. But let me look up the Ender Lily and see what the third thing was. If I recall, it's something that requires XP or something. I can't recall. Okay, yeah, it was the End Cores, but that's not in the pack. I think it was an older thing. I can't recall. If you guys can think of, if there's something better than End Stone, let me know. I may be derping or something, but I can't recall if there's something better. But we'll get Endstone today, and then we'll see from there. I'm going to... I could have just teleported. I'm going to set the alloy furnace up here for just a minute. Yeah, I did get another peace candle, so there's one over here. Just kind of keeping this area of the farm safe. I'm going to switch this out with the manufactory, I suppose, for right now. Just a very temporary thing. Actually, no, instead of doing that, I've got a better idea. Let's just put the manufactory back where it belongs. And, wait a second, does this still electrocute you? No, it's still got the bug. I'm surprised they have not fixed that, because that's been around for a long time. Where it should shock you, but it only shocks you until you, like, save the world and, you know, exit. But we're going to set this to output on this side and just set our alloy furnace up right here. And then we'll toss this stuff in, and it's going to start crafting. It's going to make our pulsating iron for us. Awesome. And that should be plenty for us for a bit. So let's head back home. We need to make some grout up real quick. Or not grout, but conduit binder. Composite. So sand, gravel, and clay. Okay, let's pop over to the smith. Let's just grab some clay. And let's make our binder composite. There's 32 of it. That's actually quite a bit. I am not grout. Yeah, I called it grout. That's okay. I'm actually low on gravel. I'm going to have to go mine up a bit of gravel here soon. But it's fine. I had quite a bit, but I used it to make all of this, which actually was decently expensive. So, last episode. So it's got seared bricks even up here. And then, of course, we're going to have our smoker up inside there a bit later on. So now I'm not going to be able to make the painting machine yet. And, you know, that's kind of, I think probably goes without saying. It's a little bit too expensive for us at the moment. I'm actually going to go ahead and slot one of these pulsating iron ingots just so it's slotted into our drawers. I'm starting alloys over here and then non-alloy type ingots over here. So let me go ahead and grab all this nickel and copper and turn this over. Let's get lithium and magnesium going, I suppose, just so I can get those slotted in. And I think nickel is new. I'm trying to get all the new things slotted into our drawer system. So, okay, so now we can make ourselves our first batches of item conduits. So, yay! And there was much rejoicing. And there's a little bit more. Okay, so we've got 40 of these now. And now what I have to do is I have to run these over... yeah, I'm just going to do it down. Later on, like I said, we will change this over to actually have, you know, the painting machine. But I can't at the moment because I don't have the means to make a painting machine at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this. We're going to say here. And that way we know that's where we need to be running the conduits to. And then we have to just pop underground and take them over there. So it's actually a little bit of a ways. Okay, so now I'm up underneath this. So what I'm going to do, that's above the lava. I guess that's where I want to come down at. I'm going to have those conduits in the way though. How do I want to do this? Actually, I'm going to start the conduits here. I'm getting that visual bug again. I know it was brought up in the comments, and I can't recall off the top of my head who... okay, I can see my stuff again. But it was brought up in the comments, and I can't recall who it was that said it, but... on their server, they were having that issue, and it was tied to chunks that had a lot of stuff, like, basically going on, you know? The only strange thing is we really don't have much going on at the moment at all. Display project intelligence documentation link to this UI. Okay. I don't know what that does, but that's cool. That's new. Okay, so there's that, and wow, we almost used all those conduits up. Luckily, the kitchen area is not going to take that many conduits, so there's another. Okay, so we got 43, and we got enough to make another 16. So we should be good on conduits now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down just right here for right now. And let's see, there's our furnaces. I'm going to just dig this back. We're going to bring our conduits out. Yeah, it's like this chunk. Okay, well that's all connected, so let me see. Is that F9? That would be the same chunk as the red. Yeah, it seems like it's this chunk. It's all within like this chunk area that stuff's like really slow to visually appear. Be awesome if the chunk's like corrupted somehow or something. But then again, it's a temporary chunk. So, I mean, we're not going to have, I mean, our main smith is not always going to be here. You know, all of our ore processing and everything's not going to be in that little area. So, this is basically our starter forge. So, we'll be doing, whereas with past series, we would build things, then we just kind of upgrade and add new machines as needed. Probably moving forward, we're going to be doing like areas, but we're going to leave them as is. So this forge will always be here. I mean, we're going to add a high oven in there, but this forge will always be here. But it may not see use after X number of episodes, you know, is kind of what I'm thinking. So, all right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and just run these up, run that up, and then let's pop down to here. And we're going to say U extract always active, U extract always active. Okay. Now, right now it's not going to be extracting because these are new metals for us. Let me grab that and that. So our lithium, if I grab like a half stack and I grab a half stack of magnesium, and we dump in magnesium, or I mean lithium, you can see it's starting to go up right there, and then we dump in our magnesium and that's going to start going up. Awesome. So basically the furnaces are dumping all their inventory over. Now this lever is going to have to get moved because of where I've got stuff set up. That's fine. It's actually not a big deal. Actually, realistically, yeah, that should work. Alright, so now what we have to do is we're going to have to run conduits to here. And this is the part where it's actually kind of tough to sort this in a way that's going to look nice. What I'm going to have to do is do some adjustments. And first and foremost, I want to just disconnect that and disconnect that. We don't want that to connect at all. And I know we can't see what's going on here, but and then we're going to say insert is on the brown channel, and then over here insert is on the brown channel there. And the visual bugs in this chunk are just wonderful. I just love it. Just love it so much. Okay, so our conduits are there. What I'm probably going to do is we're going to remove that. And then later on we'll be able to make this a little bit nicer with the painting machine. But for now, we are not going to be able to do that, unfortunately. And we're just going to run this up. I don't want it to connect there. And I do apologize about this visual bugness that's going on here. Let's put that dirt back. It may not turn to grass. I'll probably have to move, well, what I'll do for right now is just put dirt there, and the grass should spread over to back to there. Okay, so that's all connected up, and the insert is there. And then what we're going to do is just run our conduits down underneath this space. And I'm just going to run them down, down, and then over This would be so much easier if it, like, didn't do this crazy visual bug. I mean, it honestly, it could also have to do with my computer. I do have memory ordered. It should be here in the next day or two, so maybe that has to do with it. I don't know. Okay, so this chest right here. Now, this is kind of important moving forward that we don't get things in here that, you know, maybe we don't get things in here that don't get smelted, you know, because this is basically going to feed straight over to a furnace. But if something does come in here, if I drop my sword or something, it's not like it can smelt into anything. So all that'll happen is it'll get pumped to a furnace and it'll sit there and then I can pull it out, you know. But we can back up the system if we do something like that, but hopefully we don't. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say brown, and we're going to say you can extract. And we're also going to say round robin is enabled. And that should be good. That should be everything over here set up now. So we can just put that back. And yeah, that's about it. And so now our furnaces should be receiving items. They're smelting them, and then they're getting zipped over to the storage system automatically. So yay! That means all this stuff now can smelt, because realistically, you know, I was manually moving stuff around. It just wasn't realistic because these furnaces do smelt faster than a standard furnace. Using the external heater does make them, I mean, they do have a little bit of charge up time, but at full charge they are a little bit faster. And yeah, I wasn't staying on top of it enough, you know, to get all those stacks of everything ran down. And then I'd go mining and come back with a bunch more stuff, you know. Okay, so that stuff's plugged up now, and our ingots will be automatically sent over here and all that fun stuff. Also, I will say that whenever we do set up, you know, maybe later on we set up a different forge that has different ore processing, I am going to leave these drawers here. We may just, you know, no longer process metals over here, and maybe even move the metals that are in this area over to a new sorting system. But I do plan on possibly also having this one stay fully functional and still be plugged up to like our main AE system and stuff later on. So we can still use basically any forge that we want. You know, they'll all still be usable. It's just, you know, some maybe don't see any use. But I want the option to be there, right? Alright, so over to the kitchen now. And for this, we have to make a new item. We have to make ourselves a slave. So let's go ahead and pull that up. I'm not sure what it takes to make a controller slave. It is like this. Fairly simple to make. Cool. Alright, so let me pop over. Let me get, 6 redstone, a piece of gold, and 2 nether quartz real quick. And then I've got to go get a bit of smooth stone. And, yeah, I'll be back in just a second. And our comparators. And then there is our controller slave. And of course, if you're not familiar with these things, they basically allow you to access the drawer network as if it was a drawer controller. I'm actually going to, later on, I'm going to need 2 of these, but we're just going to set up one for now because it's going to be a while. Quite a while, in fact, before I need the second one. Because I'm going to have to fill 6 fridges with things before I need it. Okay, so we're going to be using this side of the building first. And so what I'm going to do is let's set up our controller slave setting, say, here, back in here, I think. So let's see, right there is our trim. Let's set the controller slave right there. And basically what we're going to do is just, we're going to say insert is on green, extract is on brown. Always active on extract. And then we're just going to run this up. Yeah, see, we don't get the visual bug over here. And I'm going to have to cut back some of this wood here. Ah, that's outside. Okay. Okay. Wait a second, Gio. Let's see. I could either... What I'll probably do is just set it up on the back side. I didn't think about that, but that's fine. It's not really going to change anything, but... Just my fridge is on the other side, and so I'll have to run it over. But I'm going to have to run it over long term anyway, so It's no biggie. And this is where the upgrades that we put into the fridge before, the preservation upgrades, really start to shine, in my opinion, personally. Okay, so right there, we can see our kitchen floor. We've got spruce planks. That comes up right behind the fridges. That's perfect. Let's go ahead and just dig this stuff out of the way for a minute. And we're going to, let's see, the insert on this was green. Yeah, you come up over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a conduit here. Okay, and this one, this is going to extract, or I'm sorry, insert on brown, which is the same as that extract channel. And we're also going to take and just fill this in for right now. Basically to slot something, because eventually there's going to be food slotted in all this, but I don't currently have any food type items right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this over. I'm not going to configure these conduits at the moment, because we're not going to need to configure those until we actually have something, you know, those fridges start actually storing items in them, because right now, you know, nothing's going in there, so they don't matter. So if we take a look over here, let's dig this off. You can see like wheat and, let's see, wheat and seeds and tomatoes. There's only like a few of these things, right? Zucchini, mustard seeds. But as soon as we plug up this other conduit, boom. We take a look here. We should start seeing items coming in. Yeah. There's flour going up. Basically, it's pulling things from our drawer network now and pulling them into here. And basically, as long as there's space, it's going to dump items into this. But since we have preservation upgrades, we never use the last item, so it just keeps filling this up. And of course, the drawer system is locked, so the items are always locked into a place, and so all the stuff can go into here. But we are not done yet. We have one other thing that I want to add to this, which is going to be super, super useful for us. Just put that back for now. Eventually, I'll have to tear that back apart to get to the fridges, but that's not a big deal. And there goes wheat. It's now going up. So now as long as there's these items in the bulk storage, it's going to fill them back into these fridges. And then eventually there'll be 12 fridges. And remember that that side is connected over to this side. So if I come over here to this cooking table, you can see that I can make all those things that I can make on the other side, because all this is connected underneath the floor. So, but the other thing that we're going to add is actually right... Oh, let's see. Where do we want to put this? I'm going to say we're going to put it maybe on this kitchen counter, I think. Yeah, let's do it here. Which this is going to be visible until I get the painting machine. That really can't be helped. But what we're going to do is we're just going to run conduit down and over and... let me see. I guess it doesn't actually matter, but it does matter to me because I'm particular. I don't want that. Let's see. That is all. Yeah, it's all connected up. We're going to go ahead and just disconnect that. And then let me pop back up. I love having the long sword. It's so good. I love it. Okay, we'll just connect that up, and then right here, actually I shouldn't have done that yet because I got to go back down there now. Okay, on this kitchen counter, we're going to say extract is on the green channel. It's always active. Okay, and okay, we're going to just connect this over like that, and until we get painting machine, it'll still be visible, but everything's still connected. Because this connects to that and this connects to that. So everything's still connected and part of the same system. But what we can do is, for example, there's a lot of times where I make things up here that actually just need to go into the drawer system. So for example, milk, you know, I tend to run these out and empty these out and store it as fresh milk. So boom, there we go. There's 3 stacks of fresh milk. So now instead of having to run all the way down there, I can just toss in the fresh milk into here. And it's going to start getting pumped out and sent down below. And for example, if we grab these 2 stacks out, let's just make sure it's all going to the right place. Now, if fresh milk does get backed up, then it's just going to set in there, of course, because it can't go anywhere. But we take a look here, we basically have 5.5 stacks of fresh milk. And so then if we pop up here and we throw that in, let's just ensure that this is working. We toss that into there, and that's going to start pumping it down. We should have space to store like 32 stacks down here at the moment. So we take a look here, and it is going up, and yeah, everything's right with the world. So, yay! And it should be about to stop. There we go. 7.5 stacks. Perfect. Okay, so that's just kind of a convenience thing for us. Since we've already run that up there, now we have easy access to send our items down to here. Okay, so now what we are going to do, I think that's it for our conduit running this episode. But we do have a couple other things that I'd like to knock out, which are kind of quick, easy things. Let me actually pop over and dump off my inventory. I had a whole bunch of junk. Okay, the next thing I want to make is the Gluttony Charm. Let's just go ahead and knock this thing out because it's amazing and wonderful and I love it. Regular golden apple is okay. Cool, that is standard. So let's pop over to our smith. Let's get ourselves a little bit of gold. Pop over to project. Pop over here and grab ourselves, is it 3 pieces? Yeah, 3 pieces of wheat and an apple. This thing is crazy cheap, but it's crazy good too. And I've actually been wanting to make this, and I almost made it the other day just between episodes. I was like, well, no, it's kind of amazing, so I grabbed 2 string apparently. What this thing allows, well, I'm not hungry right now, but what this thing will allow us to do is eat automatically without needing to do all that mess. We can just eat and get the food. So that thing's always really nice to have whenever you have dark utilities, and super useful to have. Okay, now the other thing I want to do this episode is deal with nutrition, because right now I'm eating baked potatoes. So my grain, my protein, my fruit, and my dairy, which I had actually gotten about all of them to 100. Actually, at one point I had I think 4 out of the 5 done, but it was because I was eating food from loot chests and quest reward type stuff, and now I ran out of that pretty much. Actually, I do have, I think I still have some Domino's specials and stuff, but those give buffs, and they're kind of good if we're going out exploring. Yeah, I've got 8 of those. I want to have chicken curry, which is good. But we need to figure out a food to be our staple food for now. Like I said before, we're going to be doing a lot with Pam's. We're going to be automating. One of my goals for this series is to later on eventually have all the foods automated through AE2. Just some monstrous amount of like, oh, we can just order all this different food kind of a thing. But for now, we need to look and see about a good balanced food for eating. It doesn't necessarily have to be just one food. It could be like 2 things. Potato and cheese pierogi isn't bad for knocking out dairy, grain, and vegetable. I would need something for meat and fruit though. The only thing is right now I don't have a lot of meat. To be fair, we have not automated that yet. I don't know if we want to automate meat real quick, or no, probably not, because whenever we automate meat, I'd like to like fully automate meat. So give me a second. Let me see what we can do. I mean, honestly, the pierogies aren't bad. And if we did that and then just made something that was like maybe fruit and meat that was pretty good or something. Because, I mean, the pierogies are 2.4%, which is pretty good. And they have decent, what all do they take to make them? Dough, potatoes, and cheese, which is easy. That actually might be what we go with for right now. And then do something for meat and fruit. But let me take a look and see what options I've got that aren't like super difficult. You know, we're not going for deluxe chicken curry today. We're going for something early game, right? So I'll be back in just a... by the way, one thing I should note is if you type in, like, say, let's say meat and fruit right here. The only thing that is meat and fruit... Oh, it's protein. Sorry. Fruit and protein. This is what all has fruit and protein in it. So you can see, like, the top foods, like, you know, naturally these are going to have that. But I mean, a lot of this stuff is a bit involved to make at the moment without a lot of automation, you know, having to make all this stuff. And I don't have like lime trees and stuff like that. So we have to find something that's not too difficult for us at the moment. And something that we can make with what we have available at the moment as well. That's also very important. So I'll be back in here in just a little bit. Okay, that actually didn't take very long. I think I figured out what I want to do. So we are going to go with the pierogies, the potato and cheese pierogies. Dairy, grain, vegetable, 3 shanks of hunger. That's pretty good. So let's go ahead and take that. There's 62. Yay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is for the other food groups, the fruit and protein food groups. We're going to go with something simple. There is a couple things that we're going to need to make this happen, though. We're going to be going with blueberry pancakes. But to do that, I have to get blueberries, and I have to get eggs for the batter. Other than that, I mean, the rest of the stuff's super easy. We pretty much have infinite of this stuff. So what we're going to do is, first up, we're going to have to get ourselves a chicken. I'm going to make a little auto chicken system. It's not going to be anything fancy. We are going to do some chicken pens later on that are more for looks. But we're going to set up a little chicken system for getting our eggs for right now. I think we can actually get eggs from the... because we're going to do ground traps later, and I'm pretty sure that... oops. I'm pretty sure that we can get them, yeah, from the ground traps right there. Long term, we may not even need this little chicken system, so I'm just going to set up like a temporary one, kind of, and then we can change it out later. So what does it take to make a lasso? String and gold nuggets. Cool. So let's do that. So, boom, there's our golden lasso. This thing, of course, is amazing. And what we're going to do is, let's go find ourselves a chicken. And I actually had some that were wandering around the farm, but I killed them. So, that's fine. Also, while we're out, we need to look for blueberries. Now, you can, if you want to, there is the market thing. This one right here, it's super cheap to make, really. You can make that. And then the shipping bin, you know, I used that in the past and in the first Enigmatica playthrough. But just to make Pam's a little bit more interesting, I'm not going to be using the market. So everything that we get is going, we're going to have to actually find it, right? So it just kind of makes it a little bit more fun instead of like, oh, look, I've got all the crops already. That way I actually have to explore the world a little bit. Come here, Enderman. Hey, come back here. Let's see. Blueberries come from Soggy Gardens. That's what we're looking for our blueberry pancakes, which will be like a swampy type area garden. So I'm going to have to find that as well while I'm out and about. Hey, there's chickens. Ah. Okay, so we've captured our chicken. Let's go ahead and pop on back, actually, to the project. And this area is not currently chunk loaded, so I am going to just do that and chunk load that for now. We are going to be, here soon, we're going to be changing that up a little bit. And what I'm going to do, since this is going to be a fairly temporary setup of, like, before too long, we're going to be doing ground trap automation. But what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to put a hopper setting there. I'm going to put this block setting there. I don't think, yeah, he's not going to be able to escape that. And then we're just going to drop our chicken in right there. And now, right now, I don't have space for eggs and feathers, but by the time we get back, chances are he will have dropped some eggs and feathers. So we'll have that available. Then, of course, the eggs will just keep building up, and then probably by next episode or something, we're going to have just tons of blueberry pancakes, and we'll be good. will be good to go. And batter something that I need to get slotted anyways. So now I need to go out and I need to find myself a Soggy Garden. So, of course, if, like I said, if you have the market, you can just buy all the crops just outright. And then what you can do, like in Enigmatica, for example, I set up a shipping, or the first time through Enigmatica, I set up a shipping bin and I was able to just sell like bee produce and stuff for all the emeralds that I needed. So basically infinite emeralds. We will still use shipping bins. I'm just not going to be using the market to buy my crops. I'm going to be manually going out and harvesting them and using the gardens because the market just kind of cheeses a lot of things. So I'm trying to avoid just over cheese stuff. Hey, there's Soggy Garden. Haha. I need to get one of these and take it back. But for right now, I just want to break things. I wonder why in a plains biome I found a Soggy Garden, though. Actually, it's probably because the river was right there. So chances are, if I follow this river, I may keep finding more Soggy Gardens. Because they're usually near water. They're really, really common in swamps, usually. Is a good place to look for them. But let me see if I can find some more of these and try to get blueberries. And I'll be back in just a bit. Okay, that actually took a while. I just finally found a blueberry. But on the way, I did pick up a Soggy Garden. I got a couple Shady Gardens. And I got 4 Frost Gardens. Plus a ton of new stuff that I'm sure that we don't have planted at the moment. Because I don't even think we've harvested much in the way of Soggy Garden so far. So yeah, only 3 of those things we actually had planted. And then I can dump the rest of this stuff into here, which is kind of like my 2-plant area. I need to get rice and garlic planted pretty quickly. In fact, grapes are also really, really good to get planted. Sweet potatoes. And then I've got windy gardens, arid gardens. And I think, isn't that all of them, those 5? Or, no, I need tropical gardens. That's the only garden that I don't have at the moment. So we may have to set up a farm for those here fairly soon. Just let them naturally spread, basically. And I also picked up some marshmallow root, which is very, very useful. Oh, and the super fast eating. Boom, there we go. Okay, but as for the blueberries, we need to get these things planted in our ever-growing farm. And I think what I'm going to do, I need to finish setting up this barley area. But I think for the blueberries, I think we're going to set them up over here. In fact, so what we'll do, let me get a batch of this. And I'm just going to go ahead and plot out 64 fertile soil. I'll do some more and I'll finish running the cobblestone stuff around this. But 64 is going to give us a good starting point for our blueberries. And then I can expand. I need to finish it and the barley and get all this other stuff planted. That's something that I'll work on over the weekend. Is trying to get more farms plotted out. I also want to build another windmill. So, probably just an identical replica of that one. And I've been stocking up on bone blocks, like a lot. Because with how much farms we're building, we need all the bone blocks we can get. Because it's super easy fertile soil, so. Alright, so there's 64, and we got 64 dirt, and the cycle continues, basically. I'm not going to do any more right this second, but we could drop our blueberry in and then basically just run through. Usually what I do is just run through like a stack of bone meal or a little bit extra. I've got a little bit extra, so I'm just going to run through what I've got and just get as many blueberries as I possibly can. Not to mention I do need some food starting out. Okay, so there's plenty. And then I'll just go ahead and plant these out. Now some crops I don't do this. Some of them I actually just start from like 1 or 2 seeds. Because, like, for example, barley, I'm not really using barley for anything. But if it's something that I'm using and I really do need it planted out or plotted out pretty quick, I'll just go ahead and knock out a bunch of those. really, really quick like that. Because bone blocks are actually fairly common. So, and I believe we can find them quite a bit in the nether as well. But, okay, so let's go ahead and we'll slot in our blueberries into here. And actually, let me just hold on to like one of these and we'll dump that. And let's check on our chicken. How's it doing? We have 3 eggs. Awesome. So our eggs, I'm going to go ahead and just slot these in. I'm actually going to go over to this side, I think. And we'll go ahead and just toss those in. Let me grab one of them. And I should probably install an elevator here, but truth be told, eventually we're not even going to be going down to the warehouse part all that much, so I don't know if it's all that useful, but let's go ahead and just drop in blueberries there and eggs there. And so those are now slotted. Yay. And then we can make our batter. So this is flour and eggs. Boom. There's 2 batter. And I'm going to go ahead and slot in batter. And I need to slot in batter down here. I'm only going to be able to make like 1 blueberry pancake at the moment, but that's okay. Before long I'll be able to make more, but batter goes there because that's cooking material that we'll be using a lot of for different things. It's used in a lot of like dessert type things and pancakes and muffins and stuff like that. So and now we should be able to make our very first pancakes. Boom. And then we can make blueberry pancakes. Boom. So yay. Blueberry pancakes and potato and cheese pierogies. That's going to be our staple foods at the moment, which are actually pretty good foods. 3 and 3.5 shanks of hunger off these. Not too bad. Plus they do give 2.4% and 2.5% on 3 and 4 different nutrient groups. So I'll be able to cap out my nutrition. Wonderful. I also need to start sampling all the different types of things that we have growing down here so I can get all the free hearts off of that. Because right now we only have 20 hearts. We could easily bump that up fairly quickly, I think. And also eventually this chicken is probably going to drop a feather, and I will slot that in down here. Even though it's not necessarily something that we're using for cooking. Of course, neither is industrial hemp, but it's something coming from our farms, right? So we will go ahead and slot that in here. Okay, now the last thing that I want to do this episode, it's something really, really fast, because I know it's it's already probably wrapping up point. But I want to go ahead and just whip up a stone barrel. And we will make a proper farm for this here pretty soon. I've got 3 ender lily seeds at the moment. The nice thing is we're going to have a small chance every time we harvest them, with them planted on endstone, we'll have a small chance that we get more. So I will set up a little farm out there somewhere maybe, or maybe something a little bit different since it is going to be kind of an endstone farm. We shall see. But let's go ahead and just boom. It's so easy. It really, really is. It's so easy. I've got to make 1 more piece, but that's fine. I actually have 1 more piece of glowstone. I've got 3 in total, so I'll be out of glowstone after this, but that's okay. It's easy to harvest glowstone. But let's go ahead and just set up our endstone for now, so we can start trying to get chances to get extra seeds, and we'll get these planted. And they will grow a little bit faster now as well. So, and they are chunk loaded. Awesome. Okay, so with that, I think we're going to wrap up this episode here. I accomplished everything I set out to do. A lot of miscellaneous type project stuff. There's still a few other miscellaneous projects that I want to get working on, but we'll tackle those later. So everything's kind of wrapped up here for the time being. We still have a lot of farms to expand on, but now we can start moving maybe towards a magic build, which would be kind of cool. Start getting into magic. Domcraft or Astral Sorcery, probably. I do want to start Botania, but we're going to need... They all kind of interlink together, so we're going to have to get building on some magical stuff for multiple magical mods. So, anyways, with that, I'm going to end out this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys